on this call, kind of get your perspective as far as, being a professional athlete with everything that's going on um, in these times. So I appreciate you coming on this call.
Yeah, no, it's all good. As much as you guys have done for me, it was a no brainer.
Are athletes still training right now, or?
Yeah, yeah. Athletes, most of them, all the ones I know, definitely are still training, staying in shape because you never know I guess, what the schedule is going to be. If they cancel all of the OTAs and spring stuff, or if this COVID miraculously clears up in the next month, if they're going to try to get in that last month of OTAs, or are they just going to go straight to training camp? So you kind of have to stay ready because you don't know when you're going to have to go back.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think the NFL is going to get postponed, or?
Everyone keeps saying that it'll start on time, but that's I guess the next month, probably the next 4 to 6 weeks will probably be the best indicator of whether or not it'll start on time, depending on the slope in which this virus either declines or increases in numbers. So it's hard to make a judgment now.
Yeah, yeah. I know I was working with a lot of the MLB players, and it was tough because as they were starting to move, everything got canceled. So
Yeah, my brother had to go through. He was out at spring training, and then just one day they were like, "Oh, we're sending you home," and sent everybody home. And now he's just working out and kind of just waiting until he gets a call to go back.
yeah. So why don't you give us like a little background about like where you started, where you went to college, and then where'd you play?
Uh, Started when I
Go way
was
back.
5 years old, playing tackle football right away down in Sandy Springs, Georgia. Grew up in Georgia, stayed in Georgia my whole life. Uh, Graduated from Gainesville High School in Gainesville, Georgia. Ended up at Notre Dame, where I stayed for 4 years. Was drafted to Detroit in 2014. Spent 5 seasons there, and then last year spent part of my sixth season with the New York Giants.
And so how was playing in Detroit? How were the fans there? I got a lot of mixed fans. Some love, some hate.
I think you either have your diehard who supports you no matter what,
Yeah,
or your bandwagon. There's no really in between fans. It's either the guys who will be with you since day one, or the guys who are like, "Oh, you're great," and then the minute you lose, it's like, "Oh, you're terrible again."
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it's a very fine line between the types of fans that there are.
yeah, yeah. Being a Detroit Lions fan can be tough sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
What's the favorite stadium that you've ever played in, or favorite crowd that you've ever played for?
Favorite state, favorite crowd.
Kind of a random
I
question.
would say my favorite stadium that I've ever played in would have to be Cowboy Stadium.
Dallas.
Yeah, for sure. Would definitely have to be the best stadium. But fan wise, I would say the Seahawks, their atmosphere is crazy.
Really?
Yeah, they have a dope stadium also, but their fans it's a whole nother atmosphere when you're out there playing. Every time I played out there, even non-playoff games, every game feels like a playoff game out there.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So yeah, I mean, what do you think as far as on the financial side of things? Like, what do you think real estate agents or financial advisors can do to kind of help athletes during this time, or in general overall? Um,
Financial advisors can do the best job of just keeping you on a budget, making sure that you're not doing any unnecessary spending. A lot of guys maybe in season spend more unnecessarily because they're getting those checks, and it's like, oh, I have a little extra to buy this car or chain or invest this extra bit.
yeah,
But instead, just kind of advising them to be a little more cautious, just because everything is in such a chaotic kind of sense right now.
yeah,
And then as far as real estate agents, if you're looking for a place, just being able to get videos of homes that you may have seen online, so you don't have to do the showing in person. You can kind of just send them a video of the house.
Yeah.
I know my agent here, because we're trying to sell our house. Agents of other houses that we're looking to buy offer to, do a video walkthrough with us. If you don't want just a text message video or something, they can FaceTime you and actually walk you through the house to get a better sense of it. In terms of selling it, I've had my realtor create kind of like a FaceTime video, but they walk through the house.
Yeah. Are people showing houses in Atlanta right now, or is it because in Michigan it's on complete lockdown right now? You can't even show houses. So
yeah, you can't really show houses here, but you can have your agent kind of walk the house by themselves, or you could. I mean, if you really wanted to. Some agents have been like, yeah, if you want to do an in-person showing, they haven't necessarily shut it down, but it's definitely advised not to do in-person showings if possible.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of just now it's going to all types of videos you can send out, or like I said, FaceTimes or pictures.
Yeah.
The listings you can see from like Zillow or the other real estate sites. So
yeah, I
think it's just being smart, not putting yourself or others at risk by having multiple people in and out the homes, but also giving, whether you're a buyer's agent or a seller's agent, them just a sense of calmness, just like, hey, just kind of ride the wave.
Yeah.
And if your house has to sit on the market for a couple months, know that when this does clear up and people put offers in on your house, there should be a greater understanding of, your house may have been on the market for 4 months now, but 3 of those 4 months were COVID.
Yeah.
Because of the COVID outbreak. So you can't really that doesn't hold as much weight as it normally would if this was a regular market, no pandemic, and your house was sitting for 4, 5, 6 months.
Yeah. I have my real estate license actually in 3 states. So it's like interesting to see what's going on in each state. And it's like, it's going to be interesting to see how COVID is going to affect real estate prices, 6 months, a year down the line. So,
for sure.
Yeah, but things have definitely slowed down a lot,
Right.
If you can't show houses, I mean, you can't, you can look at it virtually, but I feel like if you can't look at the house, inspect it, people are going to be kind of hesitant to buy right now.
Oh, for sure. We had, for our house, 3 buyers alone who were flying in from out of state. And then their jobs put a no-fly rule on all of their employees. So they can't even fly out to see the house. They love the house in the videos, love it in pictures. But they're like, look, at this price point that you're at, like, if we're talking about $1 million home, I want to see the home in person. I love it. I'm sure it's going to show the exact way that the videos and pictures are showing it. But just for, like, your own sense of comfort, you'd want to see it. And I go, I understand that. I'm the same way. I wouldn't just buy a house off of pictures, no matter how much I loved it.
Exactly.
I'd have to go see it in person, but they can't. So it's kind of just a hurry up and wait right now.
Yeah. One thing I'll say too is, like, when I notice about athletes, I didn't know before I started working with them, is that they get traded so much and they move so much. So it's like, I kind of see why they're sometimes hesitant to buy, because they get traded so much. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. That's why I never purchased. If I would have known I was going to spend 5 years in Detroit, I might have bought something, because it would have been cost savvy to have my money invested into something.
I mean, you can't time the market, because when you started, like, that would have been a good time to buy, and then when you left, but you can't. It's hard to time the market like that, because like, what if you bought last year? It would have been, you would have bought at the top. You know what I mean? So
right, and that's why it's hard to gauge, and then also. When you're a first round draft pick, you have a better sense of how long you'll be there at least. But as a 6th round draft pick, I was like, I don't know how long I'll be in Detroit before I'm cut, traded, or whatever.
Yeah.
And luckily played 5 years there, but that's not normal for a 6th round draft pick.
Yeah, it's not. Cool. Well, hey, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I'm sure a lot of my friends who are Lions fans are going to really appreciate this, man. It was really good reconnecting with you.
Yeah, no, that's all good. Like I said, it's the least I could do, man. And glad to see you're doing well, and hope you guys are safe and healthy out
let's
there.
Stay in touch. Are you moving from Atlanta, or? Yeah,
we're thinking about possibly moving to either Tampa or just moving closer to the city, because I'm kind of out in like
the burbs,
like the woods, like way burbs, like country horse farms across the street.
It's
So
probably
nice and
peaceful.
quiet, but that drive to the city, whenever I transition from football, all the major companies or major businesses work down in like Buckhead or downtown Atlanta, Midtown. And I'm a good, without traffic, 35, 40 minutes from there.
Yeah.
So trying to tie in Atlanta traffic with that drive every morning, it'll be a headache. So we're just going to move closer or just move to Florida.
Cool.
We haven't decided yet.
Well, good luck with your move. And if you have any questions or need any help, I'm always here. Anything you need from me as far as like any opinion, reviewing contracts, anything, I'm always here for you. Let me know.
Will do, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
It was good reconnecting with you.
Oh, likewise.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.